Hi folks, and welcome back to Meaningful Money. Okay, still here in Coverack. It's just like the archetypal Cornish fishing village really. If I just shift to one side, pretty spectacular, do you not agree? We're carrying on talking about life stages, and this is the third one, and we're talking about what happens now when children come along. So this is families, the financial implications of the financial planning things you need to think about. Considerations will be a better word when you're in this life stage. We've already talked about young, free and single and dinkies, double income, no kids, but now the kids have arrived, and now I need to talk about the things you've got to think about now. As ever though, before we get into that, my good friends down here at Seven Investment Management who sponsor Meaningful Money, and I'm very grateful to them for doing so. Okay, so what does family life look like? Well, one or more children, obviously that's kind of a given. Chances are there might be one of the partners in the marriage or the relationship or whatever on a lower income. Maybe one is staying home, working part-time. Maybe not. Maybe there's, you're both working full-time still, but maybe there's childcare costs. So net disposable income can be a little bit lower, or sometimes a lot lower than it was before the kids came along. Expenditure is big though. Children cost money. Take it from me if you haven't got them yourselves. Okay, children cost a lot of money. If it's not piano lessons or singing lessons, it's something else, or it's ferrying them to and fro, and it's petrol and stuff like that. They are of course entirely worth it, but they come with expense. So it's important that that's taken into account in your financial planning. So key points, right? The things you need to think about if you're sort of in this family stage. It's really a key point for every stage, but budgeting is probably more important now than at any other stage. Take it from me, okay? Budgeting is not something which is easy, nor is it particularly interesting, but it's very, very important. So the golden rules of spending less than you earn is just as relevant now as it is in all the other life stages. That really isn't easy. I don't stand before you as somebody who's the paradigm of getting that one right, but I know how important it is, and we do our best to do that every single month. But if you are in the budgeting habit, then it serves you so well for the rest of your life. And if you can do it now, you can do it whenever. Okay, forgive my looking up there. There's a road and a footpath just going past the camera, not far away. So if you can get into the budgeting habit now of spending less than you earn, then it really will. If you can do it now, you can do it at any time. I really wish that I'd got into the habit of budgeting before my children came along. Because by now it would be second nature and much easier, and I would probably have had a bigger financial buffer before my kids came along. So if you can do that, then so much the better. But if you haven't got into that habit yet, then do it now. It's really important. There are benefits available under the state benefits system for families, so you should certainly be claiming your child benefit. That's pretty much a given when your child is registered. But also look into sort of working tax credit. Depending on the incomes of the sort of the partnership, if you like, the marriage or the relationship, then there is sort of extra money available to you. So look into that and make sure you're claiming everything you can. There's all sorts of tax credits. It's a pretty complicated system, so feel free to get help with that. But claim what you can legitimately, because it's there to be used, and it just smooths the way a little bit. If you've got children, then you should certainly have some life assurance in place. Maybe you've got a mortgage, or maybe you've got a sort of rental commitment. So if one or both partners was to die, obviously there's financial implications, but there's massive family implications as well. So there must be life assurance in place at the very least. You should also look at critical illness and income protection. This is the foundations. This is when I started doing Meaningful Money, I kind of built from the ground up. You lay the foundations really with good life assurance program, and then you can build things like savings and investments and pensions on top of that. But you build foundations to protect against the things you can't do anything about, like sudden death or serious injury or illness. So make sure that's in place. And coupled to that is to make sure wills are in place, particularly if children are around. If both parents are wiped out in a freaky yachting accident, then what's going to happen to the children? It's not something people like to think about, but you must think about guardianship. Who would look after and take over the raising of your children if you're not around to do so? And how would they do that? Are you going to provide some money for them to do that? That's where life assurance comes in. And finally, if you've got all that in place, then again, we're looking at savings. If your children are growing up, they're going to go to university one day, maybe. Maybe they'll get married one day, or maybe you would want to help them buy their first house or their first car. So budgeting, remember, everything comes back to budgeting. If you're putting good savings plan in place, then you know you're going to be able to help them in the future. But not just for the kids, what about you? Because you know you're going to have to retire one day and stop working, perhaps, maybe not. But you know, your own retirement, an emergency fund for yourself, make sure you're saving as well. So those are the things that families need to think about. Budgeting is the root of it all, of course. Claiming all the benefits you can, making sure you've got life assurance and wills in place so that what you want to happen if you're not around actually does happen. And then once all that's sorted, you know, as ever, saving and putting money aside for the future. There may be more. None of these are claimed to be exhaustive, so if there's any questions or comments on that, then leave them underneath the video, either on the site or on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever, and I'll do my best to answer them. So for now, from Coverack, thank you very much. Next time we're going to look at sort of middle age, what happens when the kids have flown the nest. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.